Don't you think that it's boring how people talk? Making smart with their words again. Well, I'm bored. Because I'm doing this for the thrill of it, killing it, never not chasing a million things I want. And I am only as young as the minute is full of it, getting pumped up on the little bright things I want. But I know they'll never own me.
Hello and welcome to 2014 front-wheel drive Outlaw Shootout here at Shakespeare County Raceway. And as you can see, the track is extremely wet. The heavens opened here about 10 o'clock this morning, but the track are doing a fantastic job so far. Hopefully we'll see some racing on the track very soon. We've got nearly 13 cars here entered this weekend, some of the fastest cars in the UK but also in Europe. So into qualifying we go, and it's a great track here at Shakespeare County Raceway. Lots of fast times are seen here. It's actually slightly more downhill than some of the other tracks in the UK. We've got some of two classes here this weekend. We've got the Outlaw front-wheel drive shootout and the true street front-wheel drive shootout as well. First up, we'll cover the qualifying from the true street class, and in 7th place this weekend was James Lord with a 12.66 at 108 miles an hour. Number 6 spot went to Dan Frost in his red Honda Civic, 11.28 at 136. Really high terminal speed there for the Honda. Hopefully we'll see him back into the 10s very shortly. Keyshawn was a late entry this weekend in his all-motor Honda Civic, 11.22 is an incredibly impressive time, getting some really good 60 foots at this track. So here's Amy Bradley in a purple Civic, an 11.16, sees her in the number 4 spot. And then Chris Sutton sitting in 3rd at a 10.87, first of the 3 cars to break into the 10s. Here's Sam Bolton in the Tigra, one of the most popular cars in the class. See him at Santipod all the time, running a 10.77, missing the car run 10.0s before. A lot of problems this weekend. So the number 1 spot went to Errol with a 10.50 at 153 miles an hour. And now we move into the Injector Dynamics Outlaw front-wheel drive class, faster of the 2 classes here. And in 5th place is Pete Cole in his Renault 5 Turbo. An ET of 13.75, a lot of problems so far, so hopefully you see him moving lower down the pack when it comes to eliminations. Sitting in the number 4 spot is Calvin Skerritt, last year's winner of the front-wheel drive Outlaw Shootout. Very powerful Wraith Honda Civic there. We should see him getting right low into the 9s hopefully tomorrow in eliminations. Number 3 Glenn Robson in that white Honda Civic, run a 10.53 at 145 miles an hour to see him in the number 3 spot. So number 2 in that, another Honda Civic in the class, so that's Yazir running a 10.30 at 146, secures him 2nd place, and the number 1 spot went in spectacular form as Richard Bratty also broke the European record running an 8.85. as we finish qualifying, number 1 in the Driveshaft shop True Street front wheel drive class is Errol Huel, and number 1 in the Injector Dymanics Outlaw front wheel drive class is Richard Batty. So this weekend at Shakespeare County Raceway, the front wheel drive class aren't the only class that will be going down the track. It hosts one of the most popular runway brung tracks in the country, and this weekend we've got a wide variety of cars going the track, from V8 muscle cars all the way down to your flat 4 Beetles. As we move into Sunday, this is where the real action happens, eliminations time. So the first pairing we see up is James Lord versus Sam Bolton. Sam in that black Tigre, while James Lord's in the VW Mark II Golf in the red and left-hand lane. Problems again for Sam on the launch, which is extremely unlucky. James can fire down the track and see himself safely into the semi-final. It's never nice to see a car push back off the start line, but hopefully it's not too much of a big problem for Sam and the team, and they can get the car back on the track soon. The second pairing we have up is Tijon Wells versus Amy Bradley. Both low 11-second cars. Who's going to take the pit here? Absolutely identical off the start line, but it sounds like Tijon had some shifting issues on the second gear there, so Amy can walk away and also see herself into the semi-final, where she'll have a bye run. So the next pairing we have Dan Frost versus Chris Sutton. So the winner of this pair will go on to see James Lord in the second round. We've seen Chris run into the 10, so looking at the qualifying ladder, he's favourite for this round, but anything can happen to really close, really good racing cars here. Problems for Chris on the start line. Again, it looks like Dan's going to take this one. We've had 3 issues on the start line. Chris is going to be chasing him back at the top end of the track, but who looks like he's going to have it? And Dan runs through with 11-1, and we'll see himself race James Lord in the second round. As we move into the Outlaw front wheel drive class, the first 2 cars we have going down the track are 2 9-second Honda Civics, Calvin versus Glenn. Identical reaction times. Really clean runs for both cars here, and that is an incredible 9-second pass in both cars, side by side 9s, but Calvin just moved his way up right up in the European standards with that 9.20. Peter Cole versus Yazir. Yazir in that black Honda Civic here, qualified number 2, ran a 10.3. Well, Peter Cole had a lot of problems so far, storming off the start line. Pete's got a lot to do if he's going to catch up here. Oh, but we see a lot of smoke, and it doesn't look good at all. And it wasn't good. A lot of fuel went down the track there, but it didn't take the crew here very long to get us back up and running. And the next car we see down the track was a bye run. Richard Batty on his own, number 1 qualifier in the class, running at 8.85 yesterday, breaking the European record. Can he better it today? A 9-0, they're really strong there run there from Richard, makes out for a very interesting semi-final in this class with Calvin versus Richard, and Yazir getting a bye to the final. So here's a quick recap again. So our winners in the True Street class are Amy, Dan Frost and James Lord, while the Outlaw front wheel drive winners were Calvin Skerritt, Yazir and Richard Batty. Into the semi-finals we go. So Amy Bradley here had a bye run, so she's straight into the final. So the winner of these 2 will be facing off against her. We have the red Honda versus the red VW. It looks like Dan's having a couple of issues here getting the car to burn out, but eventually the front wheel will start spinning heat into those tyres, and they're both onto the start line. Strong launch there for Dan Frost and for James Lord as well. Very close reaction time. It's going to be right up until the line here. Looks like Dan's pulling away at the top end, and it goes to 11-2, and that puts him through to the final. And the other semi-final on the other side of the classes, here's Yaz's got a bye run on his own, so the winner of the next pairing will see him up in the final, but this is a really good opportunity for him to get the car dialed in and to get a really good time on the board. Couple of issues there, it looks like he had just passed the 60 foot, so he's backed off. So this is the race that a lot of people have been racing for, Richard Bassey versus Calvin Skerritt. A 9-0 for Richard on the last one, a 9-2 for Calvin. We've got a camera on the back of Richard's car, so we're going to get a really good insight to how this 8-second FTO moves up the track. So as both cars edge up towards the start line. Richard has had a massive jump on the start line there. There must have been an issue at some point for Calvin. Richard's going to walk away with this unless there's any catastrophic issues. No. An 8.94, great run for Richard. And Calvin runs through an 11.96, but still at 164 miles an hour. So you can see that high-speed car there is on the back of Richard Bates' car. And you'll see the high speed coming into now as the red dot in the distance slowly gets closer and closer and closer. So it's Yazzer versus Richard in the final for this class. So if we recap those semi-finals again, the Driveshaft shop True Street winners are Amy, Bradley and Dan Frost. That'll make an interesting final for both Civics running into the tie end of the 10. While in the Injector Dymanics Outlaw front wheel drive winners, Yazzie and Richard, that'll make a very interesting final as well. So here's Glenn Robson in the break between the semi and the final. He's having a little play on the track while the other cars are starting to make their way down to the start line. But it's a shame this weekend we started to see rain, so that ended the event there.